Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt Rose.
And I'm Jessica Bun Bun.
Welcome to our new The Handmaid's Tale theory discussion. And the focus of this one is pretty clear, and that is, will Aunt Lydia save Janine? Because Janine's fate at present, with Jezebel's being shut down, is very much up in the air, and we do not know what is going to happen here.
I have no idea what's going to happen. Janine's fate feels like she's just in the wind at this point. We don't know where she is, what is going on. Jezebel's being shut down. It's good, but now it leaves it where is Janine and what is going on? The last time we saw Janine and Lydia, she was basically bouncing her down the stairs, slamming the door in her face, telling her off. Like, it wasn't great. And I know Lydia has been seemingly trying to do her best by Janine, but still not really understanding what it is Janine wants and where she wants to get with it. But at the same time, you've also got Lydia on the other side being like, I can only offer so much. I can do what I can to keep you as safe as I can, but we are still in Gilead. So you got to kind of cut me some slack where I'm able to get you into the best posting that I can at least get you out of Jezebel's.
Yeah, and that's where all of this gets really interesting. Like, there's one thing to point out here that's going to impact how we discuss this to a certain extent. We made this very clear in our Handmaid's Tale videos. We have not read the books. We have not read the testaments. We really appreciate everybody out there who is not sharing any spoilers. Like, that helps us to be able to have a good time doing this. Now, Hulu has confirmed that Ann Dowd is going to be in the Testament show. Like, that information is out there, and because that's been confirmed by them, we are looking at this with that in mind. It's like, okay, we know Lydia in some shape or form is going to make it out of this show. That doesn't mean we know how it's going to happen, but really the focus of this video is about what can Lydia do for Janine at this point, because Janine's future is very much up in the air.
Very much up in the air. And her relationship with Aunt Lydia also very up in the air. How is Lydia really going to react to what just happened? The things that Janine said she wants. If Lydia wants to redeem herself, she has to hand over her kid. She has to make that happen. Is Lydia really willing to go that far?
It's something we have to wonder about with this character, because we talk all this time about redemption. Is that possible in this world? Is that something we should even be caring about? Is it more evolution? We'll get more into that, though. Before we do, be sure to hit that subscribe button, because we have so much more coverage coming on The Handmaid's Tale, whether it be reviews, previews, theories, all sorts of good stuff that we do not want you to miss. Beyond all of that, we're also covering The Last of Us. We are going to be picking up Poker Face, a really, really fun murder mystery show. And coming up on July 11th, Dexter Resurrection. Finally been confirmed. Showtime clearly listened to the pleas that we made in this video to announce something. So thank you guys for being so devoted to us here at the channel that you're catering your announcements to us.
Yeah, we will be covering all of that here at the channel. And if you want more discussion on Handmaid's Tale, you can head over to our Patreon, where we're also talking with our Patreons about the show there. And we are also covering Murderbot over there, and we are going to be covering Criminal Minds Evolution Season 3 coming up over there. It is the only place that you can get those videos. So thank you so much to everyone who has joined our Patreon. It helps us a lot here.
Thank you guys so much. We really, really do appreciate that. Okay, so to kick off this discussion, I think the first thing we have to say here is that Aunt Lydia, at this point, she cannot rely on Janine coming to her and being like, okay, I need your help. Because in Janine's mind at this point, based on what we just saw, she's envisioning her future as, I am never going to see this woman again, and I do not want to see this woman again. And I get it. Like, after everything that has happened on this show, and in particular what happened to Janine's daughter, I more than understand. I don't want to see her.
Yeah, and I think that the way that this played out, this whole scene where Lydia slapped her, immediately was, oh my goodness, that was I shouldn't have done that, seemed very, actually really apologetic, knew it was wrong right away, tried to make it right away. Of course, it doesn't matter to Janine, but it's not for Janine to have to go to Lydia. It is for Lydia to make things right with Janine. And while Lydia has been doing kind of the bare minimum at this point, she really hasn't been able to do anything. Here's some cookies and a slap in the face. It's
Yeah.
not really anything that Janine's going to look at to think you're helping me in this. I think the fact that Janine has laid it out exactly what it is that Lydia can do, Lydia really has to look at it at this point, because I'm sure she's going to find out that Jezebel's is shut down. She is
Yes.
not going to know where Janine is right away. She may find out over time. And at that point, if it's something even worse than Jezebel's, maybe she's sent to the colonies to die, that at that point, Lydia is going to step up and be like, okay, I'm not okay with this. And Janine is right. I do have to do better if I'm going to do right by these girls, because that's always been her mentality. Oh, I'm doing right by these girls, even if it means doing wrong by these girls, to get them to the right place. And her relationship specifically with Janine, it runs really deep.
It really does. And I think Lydia needs to do a little bit of not long self-reflection, but very quick self-reflection on a lot of this stuff. Because, we all understand that Aunt Lydia is not the most powerful person in Gilead. Like, she doesn't have an extreme amount of influence. And a lot of her thought process has always been the byproduct of the way in which she's been brought up, the way in which that she's been trained. Like, all of that is ingrained in who this person is. But because Lydia can actually see directly the way that these women are being treated, I think she's capable of growth and evolution in a way that some of these commanders are not. And I think Lydia at this point, after seemingly losing a person she cares about deeply, and I do think she cares about Janine deeply, like, I don't think that's
I
all for
do.
show. I feel like it's an actions speak louder than words situation now, where she can go and say whatever to Janine. Janine doesn't want to hear it. I think the first and foremost goal of her is, okay, is there a way that I can offer Janine safe harbor, even for a limited amount of time, or even if I don't have a lot of resources, there a way that I can bring her in and make sure that nobody else in Gilead finds her, even if it's something as extreme as making them think that she's just run away somewhere else or tried to be like, hey, look over there, like we see in a comedy all the time. Like, is there anything she can do?
Yeah, the real question is, where is Aunt Lydia's thinking at this point? The mask has slipped a little bit from
Yeah.
her eyes to see what the real is when it comes to Gilead, to what's happening to her girls, and where these women are ending up at the colonies, at Jezebel's, that they're not being taken care of. They're not then being reintegrated as women in the society in a different way, in a better, higher role, after they have fulfilled this duty to be able to help create more children. They're not in the position that she's being told that they are in.
Yeah.
So is that enough to really switch things around? We only have a couple episodes left.
Yeah.
And we even saw a couple episodes ago where she had that conversation with Serena, where she's kind of like, what did you think happened to the handmaids? Serena's like, I didn't think about them at all, which is, not shocking.
Yeah.
But for Lydia, she's just like, well, I do think about them. I spend all my time with them. I think that they're serving this greater purpose. And then afterwards, that they should be treated like gods at this point. They are creating life. They are the bringers of children. Like, afterwards, they have filled this very honorable role, that then they should be treated in an honorable way. And now that I know that they're not,
Yeah.
where does she land on that, and how does she deal with that? She's told, oh, maybe they could then have a role at a fertility clinic. It's like, oh man, yeah, that's the role for them. That's a
Yeah.
honorable role to take after that, after they perform the ceremony on you, steal your child, and
Yeah.
now you're going to go help other people steal children. It's kind of like, okay.
Okay. I'm gonna put a tinfoil hat on here because I think there is a solution, and I want to be solutions oriented here. So, Aunt Lydia, you are probably thinking at this point, you're gonna find out Jezebel's is being shut down, and you love Janine. You want to make sure nothing happens to Janine. So you're like, okay, who are you gonna go to try to make sure Janine is okay? You're gonna go to a commander or a high commander. What high commander do you have some sort of relationship all with already? Commander Lawrence, go.
Oh, I thought you were going to go Commander Jonah Ryan, who's like in love with her.
Okay, see, I am forgetting that Commander Jonah Ryan even exists at this point, because really, here's what I want to happen to Commander Jonah Ryan. Everybody remembers those Looney Tunes Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote cartoons.
Mhm.
I want a giant anvil to fall on Commander Jonah Ryan, who I know is named Commander
Yes.
Bell, but I really do not care at this point. And it's just, I want that guy to die. So I'm throwing him out the window. I am not paying any attention to him. You are going, I'm saying this like I know you're going to do this, Lydia. I have no idea. You're going to Lawrence. You guys at least have some sort of established history here just
Yes.
because of Janine's daughter. So you go to him. You have some conversation. You know, you might know that none of these commanders are good people. Like they're all terrible, but he's not as terrible as some other people. He's at least better than Jonah Ryan. So you go to him, you try to figure something out, and maybe you were just thinking at this point, okay, if nothing else, maybe High Commander Lawrence will make sure she's in another position where she is quote unquote safe, where she doesn't have freedom. But hey, look, I made sure you didn't get killed. So look at me. I get a gold
Wow.
star. I'm doing something special. But here's the twist with all of it is that we know Commander Lawrence's eyes are wide open. So can he and Aunt Lydia actually then work together? And this is the beginning of the real movement for Mayday.
Yeah, and I mean, it could be. The problem, of course, is that Lawrence doesn't have any real power
Yeah.
anymore. He is being set up to be the patsy for the fall of New Bethlehem and everything that's going to be happening, and then he's going to get killed off. So he seemingly has a couple of years to be able to turn things around, but he wants to turn things around, obviously, as quickly as he can. If Lydia's coming to him about Janine, he, of course, has such a close relationship with Janine's daughter. And it feels very much like the daughter is someone that he truly does care about.
Yeah.
So once that all of those are coming into play, I think that could be the thing that then turns Lydia in a different direction about Janine, about, her child and how it's all going to work.
I feel like somewhere in Lawrence's head, like he would like to see Janine reunited with her child. Like I don't think he is heartless. I think he is a coward. I think he is a fence sitter, but I don't think he is like devoid of any sympathy or empathy at all. I mean, we even clearly see the conflict where, he wants to at least let the kid learn chess, and there are certain things that they are not even allowed to do in
Yes.
Gilead. So I feel like he wouldn't mind this at all as an end game. I think the problem is, like you said, he doesn't have a lot of power, but we have all seen enough various movies and TV shows about uprisings that it's just like in big enough numbers, the little guys can do something. The problem is just that they don't have a lot of little guys right now. But Lydia at least knows a number of the younger women in Gilead. She
Mhm.
may be able to spread some sort of word. Janine may be able to spread some sort of word. I think the real situation here, though, is that they all have to realize we're not alone. And if you're alone, you may not feel like you can do anything. But if there's actually some numbers that are starting to compile up, and that's before we even get into, let's say June runs over there and she's just like, I can't believe what Nick did. And then maybe she gets brought in and Mayday gets brought in, that maybe we can have something.
Okay, tinfoil hat.
All
This
right.
is what I would like to see happen. It
All right.
may not happen, but I would like to see Lawrence and Lydia working together to reunite Janine with her daughter and get them up to Canada or somewhere else. Because I feel like June is going to die. We don't know what happens if she's further in the testaments or whatever, but either June is going to be reunited with Hannah off somewhere else, or June
Yeah.
is going to die, because she's not going to just leave Hannah there and be like, well, I did what I could.
Yeah.
That's not going to be a thing that's going to happen. So if June dies, which I unfortunately feel like in my gut is going to happen, trying to save her daughter, that we need to have some sort of hope or happiness somewhere. And I feel like the people behind the show, the creators, the masterminds, know that there has to be some sort of little bit of hope, that
Yes.
by the time we leave this season, that we're like, okay, we didn't get everything we want, we didn't even get a lot of what we want, but we did get Janine and her daughter off somewhere in Alaska living their life out together because Lydia did the right thing.
I feel like, yeah, it's a situation where this show is probably going to kill off someone we like. I don't say that with any sort of joy, but this is just the reality of the world. But I feel like if they do that at this point, whether it's a June, a Janine, whoever, they're going to give them a somewhat heroic death where they're dying for
Yes.
the sake of the greater good. And, were it not for that information that was out there about Aunt Lydia and the Testaments, which to be honest, I kind of wish they hadn't announced. Like,
I
I
agree.
it would have been fun to sit here and be like, okay, well, maybe Aunt Lydia is going to sacrifice herself for the sake of having Janine out there, but maybe they thought the spoiler was going to leak or whatever anyway, so they had to say it.
Yeah.
But ultimately, that could have been a way in which something like that happened. But I feel like Janine doesn't have to keep fighting forever. I think there's a certain point where it's like, okay, and now your watch has ended. You can go off with
Oh,
your
and now
child.
your watch is
Yes, and
ended.
you can actually
Oh,
go
Janine.
and have some sort of nice, happy life. And maybe Lydia can help to make that happen. Maybe June can help that happen. I just feel like there's going to be some sort of movement in that direction, and Lydia has to be a catalyst for it now.
I just think too many people are rooting for Janine that if they just kill her off and don't give her any kind of happiness, then what was the purpose of this journey with
Yeah,
her? Like, things were miserable before for her, things have been miserable after Gilead for her, and then to just end with death or more misery. She's in the colonies. Like, yeah, that's part of this life that we are watching on this show. But this show is about hope and
yeah.
about the little guy trying to like scrap it out and find a way to survive through all of this. If Janine is not the person that survives, I ride at dawn. Who's with me in the comments?
I'm going to go find a horse. I'm going to go over to Dr. Horse on This Is Us. You serve no purpose on that show.
Oh
Can you give
no.
me a horse now so that I can ride at dawn with you? Because, yeah, I will be infuriated. I think we need to have some hope at the end of all of this. And Aunt Lydia, my final message to you is simple. I'm not expecting you to change the world. I'm not expecting you to individually bring down Gilead. I'm trying to be realistic here, but I do believe you have the power to help Janine, and I do believe
Yeah.
that you will at some point before this show is over.
I have found Lydia to be a lot more exciting to watch now that she's conflicted because you can really see that back and forth in her where it's like, oh man, I've really been sort of trained and thought to think these things about Gilead, about the God, about all of these different things, but I'm seeing with my own eyes something completely different at this point. So where is she really gonna land? I love conflicted characters like this,
Yeah.
which is one of the reasons why I really like Lawrence, and I know he's on a fence of his own making, but
Yeah.
at the same time he's so conflicted on where he's able to kind of land in this world, and it makes it way more fascinating. And for Lydia in the past like couple seasons where it's kind of been moving in that direction,
Yeah.
it's been way more interesting to watch her.
It is. Like, that's the truth of it, is that, to use another chess metaphor, because it's so much on the show already, it's more exciting to watch pieces move around the chessboard, not knowing where their next move is going to be, and even not knowing if we can trust people like Lawrence or, Aunt Lydia. And I think a lot of this works so well because you've had people like Bradley Whitford and, Ann Dowd playing these characters who we know are really good at playing conflicted characters.
And here's the thing about Lydia too, is I don't even think she can trust herself anymore at this point. And that's what makes her really fascinating, because she's like, everything I knew, some of it is true and some of it isn't, is kind of where she feels. So I feel like she's trying to trust what she sees and what she hears from Janine, but she still trusts what she has known all this time. And yeah, I'm very excited to see what happens with Lydia.
All right. Well, now we turn it over to you guys. Do you think Aunt Lydia is actually going to save Janine? Do you think Aunt
Oh
Lydia
man, you
is
better.
actually going to do anything? Like, let us know in the comments. And also, hit that subscribe button. Be sure to join our Patreon. That link is in the description. We are covering exclusively in video form there Murderbot, also Criminal Minds Evolution. Thank you so much.
Thank
We
you.
will see you here next time.